Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Game Over Cancer. Our next run is one very near and dear to my heart. Our good friend High Five from Ryan is going to be running Hades, All Weapons. Ryan, take it away, bud.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for having me, and Bill, thanks for the introduction, appreciate that. My name is Ryan of the High Five variety, bringing good vibes and high fives to you. And we're going to be doing Hades today. Specifically, the category is called All Weapons. It doesn't mean every single aspect, it just means one aspect of each weapon. So we get to see 6 cool little builds that I will be trying to put together and beating Dad 6 different times as fast as possible for you lovely viewers at home. See, I also do have amazing commentary because I'm going to be focusing so hardly on the RTA aspect of the game. So I do have a lovely group of people on the couch if you'd like to introduce yourselves.
Hey, I'm Vereen. I've been speedrunning Hades since early access, so for quite a long time, and super stoked to be here.
And I'm JDN. I also started speedrunning this game in early access. Currently retired, might be coming out of retirement soon, but still love the game, really love the community, so honored to be here and ready to watch Ryan kill this.
Absolutely. All right.
I'm getting notes from production that if I don't mention your shirt, Ryan, I'm fired. So, Ryan, nice shirt.
Isn't it a cool shirt? Actually, you at home can get the shirt as well as this little cool little drinking tin here. Game Over Cancer branded, of course. And if you just chop in a little cheeky donation by pressing in the chat !D, that's where you can go for the donations and prizes and stuff like that. And there you go. Thank you, Seagull. In chat, what an awesome! It is very comfy though. Like shilling aside, it's a very comfy shirt. And the colors are really nice too. So, that out of the way, let's actually do some gaming.
All right. So just real quick, we wanted to start on the Mirror of Night. So Hades is a roguelike, and that means there's meta progression. So we do, this category is done on a maxed save file, so you can see all these things are maxed. We're not going to go through what each of these do. It's not that important, but just for those of you out there who play Hades, who maybe were curious, what settings we're using for this, this is what we're going to use for the first weapon, which will be the fists. There's some stuff on there like High Confidence, which gives us more damage when we have high health, and Fated Persuasion, which lets us reroll boons. You'll see more of that stuff as we get into the run.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all set. How about you, chat? Is everyone all set? Are we all good? How are we looking? JDN, you set?
I don't know.
I'm ready to go.
Vereen, you all good?
To the Pact of Punishment. Get this thing underway.
Yeah, let's do this. Okay, keepsake. Oh yeah, also Pact of Punishment, if you want to go over that real quick too. I guess we can go over that in a little bit. But
yeah, this is basically the run start screen. So we're going to come back here in between every single run to start each run out. We have different difficulty settings that we can select here. We'll go over some of the ones we pick and why we turn them on during the run. But otherwise, I think we're good to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Let's do this.
All right,
Vereen, count us
down. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, buddy.
And we're off?
We are popping off.
Oh my god, we're off.
All right, and the bat, just to describe Hades and how it's played really quickly. So I said it's a roguelike, so a lot of the stuff is randomized. You have to make a lot of really quick decisions, including before the run, like I just showed you with the Mirror of Night. So here we're starting with the fists. Every weapon has like an attack and a special. These are like, you know, 2 different forms of ways to do combat, as well as your cast, which is this red projectile that Ryan has thrown out. JDN, do you want to describe why we just went into Erebus?
So normally you don't take Erebus gates because if you get hit once, you don't get the reward, and they usually take longer. However, this build relies on a build that's very RNG heavy, and the biggest part is finding a combo called Athena as early as possible. And since Ryan didn't take any damage, he literally got Athena as early as possible. So this is a really good start.
It's a little slow start, but it's okay.
You know
Yeah,
what
but
else
it's-
is really good RNG, guys?
What's that, Bill?
The donations are popping off.
Let's go.
yeah.
I'm gonna interject here. We have $20 from Tomalach13 that just says, "Pet the dog." So, Ryan, I think you owe Serby some head pats. We have
Absolutely.
$69 from Zengir saying, "Let's go, Ryan." Just Call Me CLO donates $20 and says, "You got this."
Oh, Chloe,
And
thank you.
We have 55 from The Seagull.
What?
Some high fives for you, Ryan.
Let's
Good
go.
luck. And where's the incentive for JDN's past weapon?
We'll explain a little bit more about cast weapons and JDN's disdain later on in the run when we get to one. But we're not there yet. So just to quickly just transition back into explaining Hades, just in case you've been living under a rock and don't know what's going on here. We have to kill every single enemy in each room in order for the door to unlock, and that'll allow us to go to the next room. At the end of each room, a reward is given, so sometimes those will be things like boons. So on the left side of the screen, you can see our core boons. So from top to bottom, you have our attack, special, cast, dash, and call. The most important of those are the attack and special for this build, and right now we have those, so now we're looking for the dash and a duo boon. So the way that this build works, we have this attack boon from Ares. These are just, you know, bonuses that you get. You kind of piece a build together as you go through a run, as you tend to do in roguelikes. So we have this attack from Ares that applies a curse on, and after a few seconds, damage pops, and you know, they take some set amount of damage depending on how upgraded that attack is. Then the duo boon we're looking for, called Merciful End, makes it so that instead of it taking a little bit of time for that curse to pop, it instead pops immediately when a deflect effect is applied. So we really want Athena's dash. That way we can apply that as fast as possible. And already we're fighting the first Fury here. Gideon, do you want to talk about the Fury?
Yeah, so the Furies are the first end of biome boss, as we call them, and you can, with our Pact of Punishment the way it is, you can get one of 3 Furies. So Ryan here got Tisiphone, who during each phase will teleport to a different, I guess, floor or part of the arena, and it shrinks smaller and smaller. She has 3 main attacks, and as you see, Ryan doesn't care and just completely demolishes her, and moving on to the second biome.
Yeah, and the experienced Hades players among you might notice some things are a little different than you might expect. We are doing this run on the Speedrun Leaderboard mod pack. This is just mostly quality of life changes to make running the game more fun overall. We still track and run both unmodded and modded runs of basically every category. So if you're interested in running Hades, you don't have to use this mod pack, but it does exist if you're someone who wants to maybe minimize some of the more egregious elements of RNG, like sticks, which we'll get to in a couple biomes. And on the topic of biomes, there are 4 biomes in Hades. So you have Tartarus, which we just got through. Right now we're in Asphodel with all this lava on the ground, which does deal damage if you stand in it. Then we'll be going through Elysium, and then finally Styx. So 4 biomes, 4 bosses, and we'll be doing that 6 times with 6 different weapons.
Yeah, so basically, if you don't know the story plot of Hades, we are playing as Zagreus, the son of Hades, and he is trapped in hell, basically. And so each biome is like a floor, and he's trying to go from the bottom hell up to the top, which is the surface. So each biome he's progressing his way up, and if you die, then you start all the way back over, back to Tartarus. With some resources to give yourself some permanent buffs to then hopefully get all the way to the surface, and spoiler alert, fight your dad to then be able to leave.
Nice, we got Merciful
And
End.
there comes
Let's
our
go.
big boon pickup.
Alright, now we just need Athena's dash. Fingers crossed.
Athena's dash, and then there's a couple semi-core boons that is luxury that we'll be looking for after. But yeah, currently Athena's dash is the number one on the list.
Yeah, so just to give some perspective on how speedrunning this game works, there is a large amount of RNG, but the game has a lot of ways to influence RNG. For example, you may have seen on that last boon screen that we didn't get what we wanted, and we re-rolled it. So you get this dice resource. You can see it in the bottom right of the screen. We currently have one of them, so we call those re-rolls. And so we can use those to re-roll the boons to hopefully more consistently get what we want. We also have a keepsake system, so you may have seen in the mid-biome chamber between Tartarus and Asphodel that we went to the keepsake cabinet and equipped that little owl pendant. That forced Athena to show up in this biome. You can only use those to force a god once per run. So once it's been used, you can't use it again. So that's why getting that natural Athena was so important in Tartarus. I say natural as in it just occurred, we didn't force it. Ooh, that Athena that was in the shop before.
Yeah, that stings.
Yeah, I kind of glanced out at that stuff.
We broke.
Well, I mean, he also got a chaos gate right before.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
good friend
We're already
Zagreus
in.
Hades game has already dipped into his life stage.
Yeah. But we're already, this is learning. This is the final boss of the second level. He has two phases where the main head becomes invulnerable. He spawns a bunch of small heads. Once you have to kill them all. Once you kill them all, he becomes vulnerable again and damage. And you see Ryan kills it quickly and moving on. Going real quick.
So we'll see
blink.
that keepsake cabinet come up again here. So this is what that screen looks like, and so right there we just took the evergreen acorn that doesn't force a god. So there's a bunch that do force you to see a boon from a specific god, and so we use those to make getting certain builds that we desire much more consistent. In fact, honestly, everything except for this Merciful End build is extremely consistent. At least just for getting the core boons that are required to play the build, essentially. So really what speedrunning Hades comes down to then, because you can reasonably get a whole ton of damage if you know what you're looking for and how to force it, is how you approach each chamber, which chambers you decide to take, and how you kill the enemies within. So you'll often see Ryan will hug walls and generally try and force enemies into clumps, and we'll be doing this dash strike combo a lot with a lot of different weapons. It turns out dash strikes are fast movement and fast damage, so it works out really nicely. So you'll dash through all the enemies in a little corner, get them all to spawn in a really nice clump for you, and rinse repeat until the room is over. And Ryan is making this look a lot easier than it is. I know a lot of people when they play Hades run through all their Death Defiances here in Elysium.
Yeah, and Ryan's doing all this without finding Athena's dash yet. So basically, he has to be using his special a lot more than he usually would to proc these boon effects quickly. So he's making it look easy and making it look easy with a small little hindrance in the middle.
Yeah, this is definitely not a perfect setup by any means, but it's plenty enough for a player like Ryan to make it through no problem. We're skipping mid shop here, right?
Looks like it.
Yeah, so you can see in the top right of the screen we have the chamber count. That lets us know how deep into a biome we are. The chambers are consistent length, so we know, for example, that the end of Elysium, the last combat encounter at Elysium is Chamber 34, and after that you'll be at the end shop and then the boss. So these are just numbers that we have memorized because they're always the same. And so certain chambers can only appear within a certain range of rooms. The mid shop, the shop in the middle of the biome, is only available in a specific range, and we are now past that. So unfortunately, we're not going to get to see another shop here, which we really desperately need because we want to see Athena so badly.
But we do get to see one of the most incredible boons in the game.
We
have
Do you want to explain it?
Yeah, so Rush Delivery is from Hermes. It has a prerequisite need a movement speed buff of some sort. And basically what Rush Delivery does is while you have any bonus movement speed, you do a set bonus of damage depending on the rarity that you got. So Ryan has Hyper Sprint, and so for, I believe, half a second on common, and he gains 100% movement speed, and the Rush Delivery, I believe, is 50%. So basically all of his dash strikes are doing 50% extra damage. Just flat out global extra damage.
Yeah, and the really important part of Rush Delivery and why you're going to see us hoping for it a lot today is that it is that global damage, so it applies to everything. It applies to this dash damage, the attack damage, the doom damage, the special damage, all of it. It's really huge. A lot of the damage bonuses you get in this game are singularly focused, so you'll get like, plus 50% attack damage or something like that, but Rush Delivery, because it's global, is extremely powerful.
And you know what else is extremely powerful, guys?
What else is extremely powerful?
We
Bill?
have more donations.
Ooh, we like that.
Zero.
We've got
Athena Dash is
$10 from Adil415 saying,
Oh,
let's
Adil.
go Ryan. And we also have Shiken with
Jai.
$10 who says, pet the dog?
Someone's got to be keeping track. I believe that's 2 pets.
That's 2 pets
That does-
currently.
does sound like
Serbian
two
needs
pets.
his dog.
Yeah, so here's the heroes. They're already halfway dead, which is wild if you played this game casually and haven't seen a speedrun before. But
Casually,
we do
yeah.
tend to burn through these heroes so fast. It's kind of insane.
Casually, these are probably the hardest bosses in the game, but Ryan will show multiple times throughout this run that they pretty much just get.
Yeah, and something you might have seen there, as well as a few other places in the run so far, is actually one of the Furies, Megara, flash across the screen real quick, and then a whole bunch of damage come out. This game does have a summon system, so you can use companion keepsakes, you build relationships with other characters, and then they come and help you in combat a few times in a run. Meg is the best one for speedrunning, so we always use Meg. It does this line of circles, which each circle does 2,500 damage. Unfortunately, you can't overlap them to have multiple circles damage the same enemy, but it still does a ton of damage. It's enough damage to break the armor on basically every mini-boss, and it also shreds bosses like the heroes like you just saw. So, it isn't the summon with the highest damage number, but it covers a very large area extremely quickly, and so it's the best one for speedrunning.
There
And there's
we go.
impending doom.
There's impending. Beautiful.
Purple.
So we are in Styx, and do you want to explain? We do have a mod for this.
Yeah, so the way that Styx works generally in the game is there's these 5 tunnels. You get to pick from any of them. 2 of them are mini-boss tunnels, and we do prioritize those in speedruns. And at the end of one of these tunnels is the Satyr Sack. We give that to our good boy Cerberus, and he lets us through to the surface. Unfortunately, in the vanilla game, it is completely random between 2 paths and 5 paths how many you have to go through in order to get the sack. So one of the really nice quality of life changes that the mod brings is making it always be 2. So you don't have a coin flip scenario at the end of every run, whether or not you have any chance to PvP.
And again, Ryan playing so fast that we can barely explain things before he's already out of
Get
it.
accustomed to
So we're already
Good thing
done
we
with
do this
six,
5 more
and
times.
Now, yeah, we're at the surface, final boss of this particular weapon, and that's Hades.
Yeah, so you'll see we use that Meg Summon off the bat to get that 2,500 damage, and then our damage is really nice. That Impending Doom boon that we picked up a little while ago in the sticks gives us a percentage increased damage on our Doom specifically, and normally it has the drawback of it takes longer for your Doom to apply, but because we have Merciful End, that drawback just simply doesn't exist. We just do a ton of damage. And Hades is already on phase 2.
Just moving.
Hades has a bunch of very scary moves, can actually do a lot of damage extremely quickly. It's a pretty dangerous fight, but when you melt Hades this quickly, you don't really get to see any of that, do you?
And that was a no-hit Hades fight.
Dang.
Very well done.
I was told to go fast, so I'm going to go fast.
It is a speedrun after all.
Curse of Longing too, by the way. So
I did see that.
Green Boon good.
Green Boon is good.
Here's another quality of life feature of the mod real quick. You can see we immediately get taken back to the house instead of having to watch an end cutscene. There's just nice little quality of life changes like that are sprinkled throughout the mod pack. Just things that make our lives a little bit nicer. Nothing that really changes the RNG in any incredibly dramatic way.
Next weapon, Nemesis.
Ready as I'll ever be.
Yeah, so here we'll be using the sword. So the sword relies, very similar to fists, it relies on dash strikes, but it has more of like a straight line hitbox, and so you're really hoping to kind of like line enemies up and pierce through them. The aspect of Nemesis specifically gets a critical strike bonus. So you use your special, and it gives your attack a crit bonus for a little while. So we're looking, I believe, to do a crit build here. Is that right, Ryan?
Yes.
The aspect of Nemesis is a very flexible weapon. You can do a whole wide range of builds on it. They're all quite good. But this is kind of the classic. This is the one that's been around for the dawn of time because it's just a really straightforward build. It's pretty easy to put together, so if you wanted to do this in your casual runs, or if you really like the sword and wanted to speedrun with it, this is a very straightforward way to do it. So we have Artemis on our attack. We're going to look to pick up Aphrodite, hopefully on special. That way we can get the duo boon between Artemis and Aphrodite. Heartrend, which increases the critical damage multiplier. So instead of dealing 3 times damage, we'll deal 4.5 times damage, something like that.
That's right, I didn't need to pet the dog.
Oh, yeah, you've got 2 dog pets stored up.
2 whole dog pets.
And you know, we have 2 donations stored up as well.
We do.
Oh, we do. We have $25 from Perfect English. Saying wonderful community showing up for a wonderful cause. Thank you, Perfect. And we also have $42 from Zhang saying, I forgot to add to my first donor. Ryan, please.
Yeah, there is a fishing minigame, and yeah, I think you're now legally obligated to go fish at least once.
All right. Yeah, this is also kind of like a shout out to like anyone that's watching at home. I know there's like I didn't set up a incentive or anything for anyone to donate, but I wanted anyone to feel like if you wanted to see like a fish or some head patch for a good boy Cerberus, then just like casually put a donation in like these wonderfully awesome generous people have done so far, and I will do so.
Hey guys, we are only about $150 away from our next donation benchmark of $1,500.
Get it.
I think we can make it by the end of the All-Eps run.
Absolutely.
Oh, I think so.
If I know anything about Twitch and the Hades community, we have always been great at coming together for good causes. So let's keep pushing forward. Let's try to hit that next donation goal here within the next hour and a half. I think we can.
I know we can.
Yeah, and just real quickly, if you're not familiar with Hades and this is all just kind of a blur to you, don't worry about it. Definitely, when we pick up some of these rewards, Ryan is selecting them extremely quickly. You're not going to have a chance to read them. Don't even bother trying. We will try as our very best to explain what was picked, because we all kind of know what we're looking for. We can skim them and give you the scoop. It's tough to follow these screens if you aren't intimately familiar with the game, so don't worry about it.
There
Yeah,
was
so
a big pickup here right before the boss.
Yes.
Yeah. We did get a hammer, and with the mod pack, we do have set up that we can choose what hammer we'll get for the first hammer. The second one is iron, but we picked up a double edge. All of his attacks will hit twice now, basically doubling his damage.
Yeah, it's kind of insane.
It's kind of good.
Double edge.
And that was
kind of
Tisiphone
what
again.
makes, sword viable as a speed weapon. Almost every sword aspect, when you run it as a speed run, takes double edge.
Might help.
Yeah, it turns out double damage is like a
There
good
goes that one.
thing.
Left Tartarus.
Yeah. One other nice little note about Double Edge and effects like it that increase the number of hits you're doing is they're actually extra valuable, because not only are they worth the extra damage they bring, but because it's an extra hit, this game has enemies with armor. You may have noticed yellow health bars. You don't deal the full damage through the armor, so if an enemy has one armor left, no matter how much damage you deal, you're going to deal one damage and shred the armor off. So, when you get a multi-hit effect like this, it's really nice, because rather than just a straight-up damage increase that gets absorbed by armor, you instead, a part of your damage still gets absorbed by the armor, but then a part goes through, which is really, really nice.
No thanks.
There we go.
And there's that Aphrodite special I was talking about earlier. Here's Eurydice. Just a quick note on free rooms. So this is a story room. You walk into it, you interact with an NPC, and then you leave. These are really, really fast. The other fast rooms generally are fountain chambers, which you may have seen. Those you walk in, the reward is on the ground ready for you. You pick it up, you drink from a fountain to get a heal, and then you move on. Those are super fast. And then also Chaos Gates. We've taken a bunch of those at this point. They're the little circles. We pay some health cost and... what was that, Ryan? Sorry.
I just went whoops.
I was a little confused by that.
I did whoops.
He passed up Aphrodite.
Yeah.
That's alright.
You passed up Aphrodite so you could get the
Divine
opening
Dash?
to Divine Dash.
Yeah.
It's all RNG maps.
Yeah, totally.
Remember, we don't make mistakes in Hades. We manipulate the RNG.
Exactly. Yeah, so, we didn't cover Chaos Gates yet, right? I'm not crazy?
I don't think so.
No, we
I
haven't.
don't think
It's
we
been
did.
too quick.
Yeah, so, here's one right now.
Speaking
So this
of
is
which,
perfect. So at the
yeah.
end of this room, we'll probably end up taking that. So, that little hole on the ground with the eyeball, that's a Chaos Gate. We'll pay a health cost to enter it. When we go inside, we get presented with a boon with options. They're Kiss Curse effects, so you take a downside for a set amount of time, and then when that downside expires, you get a permanent buff for the rest of the run. So those buffs or boons are extremely powerful, but also some of the curses you get are extremely painful. And so we're hoping to get a good mix. To get a not so painful curse and a really good boon, but you never know what you're gonna get.
And unfortunately, I think I saw you had to settle for boon rarity increase.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is still okay. It's definitely not what we wanted. It might help us find Heartrend later on.
Not now.
We were open for rush delivery again. Unfortunately, we didn't get lucky enough to get it for the second time.
No extra dashes
from
either.
Hermes, so from Hermes, we're really looking for either that rush delivery boon that we talked about earlier that gives us global damage based on move speed, or we're looking for extra dashes, because both of those are kind of multipliers on our damage, right? So more dashes means that you're spending more time dealing damage and less time waiting for the dash cooldown, and then rush delivery is just is damage. Unfortunately, instead we got a little more move speed, which isn't the worst thing ever, but, you know, it's not as good.
And to speak to getting both Hyper Sprint and Greater Haste, especially on Nemesis, with the fact that every attack Ryan does is a dash strike, he's getting an insane amount of move speed every time he dashes, which can make it really hard to dash strike accurately, but Ryan's piloting this like a champ.
Thank you.
Yeah, the hardest part about Nemsword is learning how to properly control Zagreus as you're dashing through enemies one by one. And he's doing an amazing job. The move speed does make it a little harder, but like Bill said, Ryan's crushing it.
Yep.
And we do have our first pickup of Dad Call as well. If somebody wants to explain why that's, a big deal.
Sure.
Go ahead,
So, call boons. Call boons they're kind of like, I guess, super meters. It builds up over the course of a room based on how much damage you're dealing and how much damage you're taking. You'll see that little yellow bar under the health. That's our call gauge. When that gets to halfway with Bad Call or 25% with other calls, we can use it to get some kind of effect. With Hades Call specifically, what it does is it gives some move speed, it makes you invisible, and it gives you global damage for like 1.5 seconds after you use it for the halfway charge. So that's a really nice extra little bit of damage, but that isn't the main reason we take it. It's quite good, but it's not the main reason often. The really nice effect that is kind of not listed anywhere of Hades Call is when you go invisible, it actually resets like the AI of enemies, so they repeat the same move they just did. And that can be extremely important in boss fights, particularly the Hades fight, so that the boss behaves in a more predictable way, makes it easier to DPS, and in the case of the Hades fight, gives you more uptime for DPS, because Hades has a move called Darkness, where he goes invisible using the same effect that you're using, and it becomes untargetable, undamageable, teleports away. It's really obnoxious, and we want to prevent it as much as possible.
And by the way, this is a mini boss. If you saw it for the 2 seconds
Yeah.
it was on screen.
It was a mini boss.
Yeah.
Was.
Yeah, if you've never played Hades casually, it might be hard to understand just how this compares to standard gameplay. So I highly recommend you try the game out yourself. One, it's just a fantastic game, but two, it'll really show just how much skill Ryan is showing off here.
Also,
put
like
this-
real quick too. This is my very first game I've ever speedrun ever, and it's just kind of like a testament of like not only like how like well designed the game is, but also just a real big shout out to the Hades speedrunning community of how incredibly helpful and welcoming they are. I mean, we have people from like literally all over the world that are part of like the Discord and everything, and the mod community, and everybody that has been involved in it like since I've joined has been like just top notch, like all around people. So this is the very first game I've ever speedrun like ever. So if you're watching at home thinking like, oh my god, this is insane, I actually watched Varine's run at a GDQ, and it really inspired me to like want to speedrun this game. So if this is like any sort of like testament of like anyone at home, like you can certainly do this as well.
And just to kind of speak to how fast Ryan is going, my first ever casual clear of this game took me like 40 minutes real time. Ryan is almost through 2 full runs with 2 different weapons in about half the time it took me to get my first hit. Like,
Yeah, we are zooming.
the pace that we have is not a joke.
Yeah, and just to touch on another aspect of the builds, to get back into a bit of the talking shop, we picked up Hunter's Mark, which is maybe, in my opinion, the most powerful boon for Nemesis. You'll see a little green targeting symbol show up on enemies sometimes. That is Hunter's Mark. When you hit an enemy with that mark, you have increased crit chance against them. And the way that you get that mark applied is when you get a crit, it applies it on a nearby enemy. And so it's really nice for making your crits more consistent and letting you chain crits. And so like the really skilled aspect of playing Nemsword and crit builds like it is you apply that mark. It's a really fun gameplay loop. You apply that mark somewhere, and then you kind of follow it around the room, trying to like perfectly dash strike through all the enemies to chain the crits as much as possible. It's super satisfying when done right, and Ryan was doing an excellent job of it there.
Thank you, thank you.
Here we are facing the champions for a second time. This Ryan's gonna make pretty short work. Minotaur's already about to phase. Also takes it just Death Defiance, but he still is 2 men.
And this is a really pretty comfy spot to build as well.
Yeah, you can really see Hunter's Mark working wonders here as well.
We'll see that
spreading those crits
bounce
back and forth between the 2 bosses. There we go. It's done again. Not a problem at all. On our way to 6. So right there, we purchased an item from a Well of Charon. You can see those all throughout the run. There's always one in every mid-biome, but you can occasionally see them in normal chambers as well. Those let you buy little temporary bonuses. You can see on the left side of the screen how many chambers are left on the bonus. So for example, we just bought that Cyclops Jerky, that's an attack bonus. And that'll run out in, I think that's 6, yeah, it's 6 chambers.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is Styx for a second time. Didn't really get to see it the first time for how fast he went.
I don't think we're going to get to see it too much here either.
Yeah. You go through usually around 4 or 5 chambers of normal enemies, and then depending on which tunnel you took, you'll either face a mini boss or a final chamber that acts kind of like a bigger version of a normal room with multiple spawns of tough enemies. Like Kareem said in the last time, we like taking the mini boss room because 1, you get a better reward, and 2, it's faster to kill 1 big mini boss. Oh, no rest.
I tried.
Here goes.
Yeah, as JDN was saying, it's faster to kill the single mini boss instead of having to kill like multiple waves of enemies in a normal room at the end. So that's why we take those.
And you'll notice he didn't take a mini boss on this path because the quality of life with this mod is we know we're getting the sack on the second tunnel. So it opens up and allows you to pick whatever reward that you want, regardless if it's a mini boss tunnel or not.
This delicious snack meal for you joyfully.
Alright, so here we are on our way out.
Bye for now, boy.
Did we ever pick up Heartrend?
We did not, no. Which is weird because we do have God's Pride, but you know sometimes it's a scam. But it's okay. It's all right.
You know how it goes. Whatever option you choose is always a scam.
Oh yeah. Also partially my fault too for taking that Athena room way back in Asphodel, but it's okay. We're still making progress.
Yeah, we're big chill.
I'd say your damage.
There's
is
that darkness.
Yeah.
So that's the move you really want to avoid. That's what you really want to try to... So if you see a move that isn't that one, you usually will use that Hades call.
Another one.
Yeah.
There is one cool thing that Dad does when he uses darkness that you don't when you use it. He announces the move. As you know, all great, special moves in video games come with an announcement of the move name.
Oh my god, he is rude.
Yeah, he's being a real jerk.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice
So,
dodge
yeah,
in
the
the
last-
circles there.
Yeah.
So those shockwaves you may have seen come from the skulls. When their timer expires, they release that shockwave. And if you get hit by the ring, then you take damage. And Ryan deftly dodged them all.
And also, he will shoot out the skulls at you. And if you get hit by the skull for a certain amount of time, you can see above his health bar in the top right corner of his health bar sometimes he'll show a skull. And during that time, he takes double damage from Dad. So, well, Dad being Hades. So Hades can pump out a lot of damage if you're not careful with Hades.
Yeah, just like
And
this.
A fun mechanic that we use in the speedrun that I don't think anybody realizes you can do casually. When Dad does the giant laser move, they put those two pillars there for you to hide behind. But if you just hug your dad real close, it turns out he can't hit you with giant lasers.
Yep. That is the secret speedrun strategy, is hugging your dad. Don't forget to pet Sturby.
I will, yeah.
You
Mhm,
do
yep.
owe us 2 Serby pets.
And a fish.
And
and a
fish, that's
fish.
right, that's right. hmm
And we did get another donation, $38 from Petty, with no note, but thank you so much, Petty. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Petty.
That pushes us up to $1,400. We are about a third of the way through the run. Our next donation benchmark is $1,500. What's $100 more in another hour and a half, guys?
You know, I'm gonna pet Serby one more time just for Petty there. Thank you for
An
that donation.
extra Serby pet.
If you want to pet too, just do the exclamation mark D in the chat for the donation link. If you want to see me catch a fish, or let me go change my mirror real quick. Want to see me catch a fish, or pet Serby, or something else in game that you want to see in Hades that you may not see very often, then please give us a humble donation.
And speaking of donation, for 2 of these aspects, Beowulf, which is next,
Okay, let's get this.
and once Ryan does the bow, these are known as cast aspects. We do cast builds. I am known for not enjoying these as much, but to make it more fun for those 2 aspects, for every time Ryan takes a Death Defiant, loses one, I will donate $5.
All right, well, Ryan, now you have a moral decision. Do you hurt JDN's wallet and your time, or do you get the fastest time possible and save your friend money?
I'm gonna do both.
Oh my god, he's incredible.
Anyways, back to it. This is Beowulf. Vareem, go ahead and take it away.
Vareem has one of the most legendary Beowulf runs in Hades history.
We don't have to talk about it. This doesn't have to be brought up. Alright, so just to quickly explain. So this
One
is, as
health
they were
right now,
saying-
Ryan?
Yep. Did you not see the curse I took?
Oh, it's the medic curse.
No, God. Alright,
Yeah, so
sorry.
this is a cast spec, so we'll use these bloodstones that you're seeing, these red stones, to deal most of our damage for this run. You may have seen before the run, Ryan visited the mirror and swapped a couple options. One of those was switching from something called Stygian Soul to Infernal Soul.
Yeah.
Somehow my brain is blanking. That means that we have 3 stones that we can use instead of 1 that's on a cooldown. Which is good, because we want to be using our cast a lot. So we'll have to pick those back up, but we have more of them to use at once. So this is the aspect of Beowulf. We take those casts, we load them into our attack, and then when we do a charged attack, all of those casts come out at once, wherever our attack lands. So it's kind of just like a massive cannon. It does a ridiculous amount of damage. You may have already noticed how much damage we're dealing, and part of that is because we already got the really good hammer for this, which is Charged Shot. Do you want to explain that, JD?
Yeah, so basically Charge Shot turns Beowulf into a cannon. It's a range ability. Normally he's dashing or charging his dash, and he'll dash into enemies and then do the damage. Charge Shot allows you to stay at range and also fire at range, turn it into a cannon, and does insane amount of damage. And it's basically the hammer that, as early as he got, as you see, he's just going to be one-shot enemies pretty much throughout the whole early game.
Yeah, so base attack damages on weapons varies a fair bit, but you'll see something like, I don't know, like 30 damage on a sword dash strike, for example. Charge shot does 80 damage. It's completely ridiculous. I don't know why that number is so big, but we definitely take advantage of it. So that's a lot of numbskulls.
Was. And the AoE is just ridiculous too. So as you see, groups of enemies are no problem. Big enemies are no problem. It's just moving right along.
Yeah, so the really important stuff for this, we're looking for Palms of Power, which we've already gotten a few, which are nice. Those upgrade the level of our boons, and so we want to put those into our cast because it increases the base damage. But actually the main thing we're looking for is a duo boon between Artemis and Poseidon. Unfortunately, we didn't get Artemis, so we're going to have to force it here in Asphodel. But that duo boon is called Mirage Shot, and it doubles the effect of your cast, but the second one is supposed to have reduced damage.
Supposed
it's
to.
bugged. It doesn't. It's just double damage. So that's what we're trying to get.
Again, don't know why, but we will take advantage of it every time.
Enjoy the series.
Let's keep going. Go with
One really nice thing we picked up, so Chaos and those Wells of Charon with those temporary bonuses that I was talking about a little while ago, those are extremely important on cast weapons like this one. You really want to try to get extra stones or extra cast damage. And we already got +1 stone, so you'll notice if you look in the bottom of the screen, we have 4 out of 4 instead of 3 out of 3 right now. It's really, really good, and here we're getting some even more cast damage. So this is looking kind of spicy if we can get Mirage Shot.
Ryan, we did have a couple more requests coming.
Okay. Lay it on
we
me.
have $20 from Keep Out saying, "What's up, Ryan? Good luck on your runs. Could you compliment the administrative workers after your next run, please?"
Of course.
And we also have $10 from I'm Doing It _ saying, "Ryan, if you don't greet the shade, I will cry. Keep going fast."
I can do that.
So I believe our first Hermes was Hyper Sprint, so we do have a chance at getting Russian here. Which, the damage is already disgusting, but if we can pick this up, I mean, you can never have too much damage, right?
what else is there?
Yeah, there is no such thing as too much damage.
Well,
We're hard rolling for it. Oh,
Now here goes.
damn. Punished.
Also, Ryan, there is a secret incentive that I'm sure you'll piece together from me.
Does it?
That if a certain boon appears in your run, there's
Oh.
another $10 on the line.
okay.
Because I will never pass up the opportunity to rant about that boon.
Oh, we'll be keeping our eye out.
Nice.
Oh, and look at that.
We have Mirage Shot. Alright, we're going to be
You
doing
know.
a ton of damage. So I'm going to really quickly just explain the damage rotation that Ryan is doing. Because it's actually pretty difficult to pull off. It takes a lot of practice to get really good at Beowulf. So what we're doing these dash strikes to start our charged attack. You can start these from a standing position, but it's a little slower, like the animation is just slower. So it's better to do these dash strikes. You can also use those dash strikes to kind of push enemies into a tighter clump. And then you can shoot the charged attack in a different direction than you dash. So really skilled Beowulf gameplay revolves around doing those dash strikes to get all the enemies, again, as is typical in Hades, get them into as tight a space as possible, and that way the big AoE from the cast can hit as many of them as possible.
And as we see, Lerny doesn't even get off his beginning wolf before Ryan already takes it.
Yeah, in fact, we killed 2 of those heads at the same time because the AoE on this cast is ridiculous. Yeah, so some of the things you can do with Beowulf that are interesting, you can choose to load these casts at any point in the process. Like, you can start loading them just from neutral when you're not doing anything, but you can also load the stones into your attack up to the point where the attack lands. So you can dash, attack, hold the charge, release it, and before the attack actually gets to its destination, if you press the cast button, it will load in. So you can kind of on the fly adjust how many stones you have loaded in based on you know, what you end up deciding is the best target for your cast. So you can kind of go into this looping mode where you're constantly you're chaining these dash strikes and charging these attacks, and loading exactly the right number of casts to kill whatever you're aiming at. But then you also you have to go back and pick those casts up. As you can see, they pop out, and so you kind of have to map through the room and try and figure out the best path to both, you know, to get everything as tight together as you can, to make sure you're hitting as many things as possible, and make sure you're not spending too many of your casts that you have to spend too much time picking them up. It's a very complicated process. It takes a lot of practice, and fortunately, Ryan has done that, so we just get to enjoy watching it.
And he did take a change his keepsake before releasing him to the hourglass, which affects the length that you get these small bonuses from items you purchase from the wells. And he got the extra cast temporary boost from the well with the hourglass, meaning instead of, I believe, 8 or 6 rooms of having an extra cast, he actually has 14 extra rooms of having an extra cast, which is more than a full biome with a whole extra rotation of damage. So really good.
Yeah, this is a fantastic build. So it's really just about you know, getting good rooms and optimizing the combats here, because we're pretty much full build here. You definitely can get more damage from this, but this is more than enough to beat the game pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun heroes fight, I'm predicting.
Check the old well.
Ooh, a braid too, and a fountain. We're moving.
Fountain.
Somebody check his game files. He's obviously cheating.
Obviously.
And again, this is a mini boss, or was.
Was. Is there a butterfly ball there?
I didn't
Supposed
see
to be.
I just saw numbers.
Guys, we have another $10 coming in from Nuclear Badger saying,
Badger.
Go Ryan. Could you please pet the dog again?
Of course.
I'm gonna keep reminding you, you still owe a fish.
I do. I've been listening for the sound too, and I haven't heard it. Unless I'm crazy.
We're just gonna have to buy the well item at some point to make it happen, huh?
I guess so.
Stranger, we were just.
Chamber 34 Patty. I think this is our first Patty, if you want to explain that for me.
Yeah, so I said a little earlier that there's these story rooms where you interact with NPCs and get rewards. Each of those NPCs has different options. Patroclus is affectionately known as Patty in the community, and has one of the best benefits for a casual player, which is actually restores all of your death defiances. Those are your extra lives in the bottom left there. So it's one of those things. A lot of the time you get into Elysium and you lose all your death defiances, and you're just crossing your fingers and hoping to see Patty. Ooh, I thought
There's
you were
our
gonna
friend,
forget
the
before you
supportive
shade.
I was never gonna
I was-
forget.
I was gonna cry.
Not gonna forget.
But that was just a disgusting heroes fight. So,
It was.
Yeah.
It never stood a
you'll
chance.
almost never see that casually, and it is not that easy.
Yeah, you'll see here we're entering Styx at 6 minutes in game time. Yeah, we're moving.
Nicer outside than it is in here.
This is a pace.
And you can see in the top right corner of the screen, you can see the in-game timer as well as the mod packs provided RPA timer. So that should be relatively accurate, but the screen should also have the timer up, so they're probably very similar.
Yeah.
Maybe 7 seconds off.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah, because that's how long it takes to drop in at the start of the first run.
No way.
Tonus? Seems like Tonus is also watching. Shoutouts to Tonus, one of the best runners in this game.
Time to deal with father's pest problem, I guess.
Yeah, whenever we see lots of rats and sticks, we tend to blame Tonus.
Charge shot is such a good first hammer that Ryan is opting to not even get a second.
No way.
Nope. Don't need it. As many of the amazing and wise people in the Hades community have shared, especially Risk 13, menus are just like a time loss. So,
No use.
Yeah, there's a definite difference between playing Hades for in-game time and for real time, like we're doing right now. We actually track categories for
Here's the fee.
every individual weapon for both in-game time and real time. And we have categories like all weapons here that is strictly in real time because you have to do a bunch of stuff in between each run.
See you, boy.
There are definitely differences between them. They're not exactly the same. For in-game time, because the timer pauses in some rooms, some of the heat options that we pick, which maybe we'll explain on the next run, change slightly. Also, you can't like sit on a boon and make exactly the right decision because the timer doesn't pause. Timer pauses on boons, but in real time, obviously, you're not pausing that. So you really got to make those decisions extra snappy, extra quick. Really know what you want in advance.
I think it was my favorite part of running real time as opposed to in-game time was real time a lot comes down to making a good decision quickly, even though it may not be the best decision. Where in-game time you'll see a lot of runners when they're starting will spend that extra minute or two to really make sure they're making the perfect optimal choice.
Yeah, they're very different play styles. In-game time is definitely a lot more cozy, especially when you're starting out, because you can take that time to really analyze the situation. It's really good practice for real-time runs, because obviously you get a better feel for what ends up actually being the better decision. They're kind of two sides of the same coin in that respect, but again, some of the choices are just a little different. So Ryan was alluding to that with the hammer thing earlier. When your build is done and you have as much damage as you need, taking something extra like another hammer or another boon, even though it does provide a little bit of extra power, as a percentage of your total power, it's not that big. So the time you lose from just having to pick it up, look at the screen, and select an option is actually more of a detriment than the reward itself is helpful. So you'll often see in real-time runs, runners will skip boons or skip hammers and stuff just to avoid extra menus.
Yeah, and to go back to the RTA versus in-game time strategies, if you're just starting out, if you try real time to start out, and then you switch over to in-game time for a little while, I believe you'll notice your RTA time actually get a lot better just from learning exactly what you want to pick. Because in in-game time, you can take all the time you want to pick a boon because the timer's paused during the boon menu, and just learning in what situations what boon is best will then just become natural. So when you're in real time, you're gonna, like you see Ryan do pretty much every single time, just snap picking boons as soon as they show, because you know exactly what you're looking for, and it'll really speed up your time a lot more than you initially would think.
Yeah, so we are on to our fourth weapon here. This is the Terra aspect of the bow. This is similar to Beowulf in that we load our casts into our attack, and they all come out at the end. The difference is, rather than the cast being that AoE explosion, it's a much more single-target focused bit of damage. So we look for something that'll have a really high single-target burst. That way we can try to use fewer casts to take out more targets. Ideally, obviously, the best situation is that we use one cast per target, or even line the enemies up so that multiple get hit by the tiny AoE, but it's quite difficult to do so. Just to touch quickly on the heat stuff, since we didn't do that. So heat is the difficulty settings that we are seeing in between each run, the pact of punishment. You can see in the top left there's that flaming skull with a 15 next to it. That's how much heat we have on. And so the settings that we use specifically to make things faster here, we've got forced overtime makes enemies spawn in faster as well as move and attack faster. The spawn in faster is not listed, but it is a thing, and that is the most important part. That's why we turn it on, because it makes getting through those waves just a little bit faster in every single room, and it adds up a lot. We also turn on extreme measures too. You've probably been seeing that if you're looking at our Asphodel boss, Lerny. That's what makes the ground all covered in lava. It's just because the heads in that arena spawn a lot closer together, so it's faster to go between them and kill them than it is in the other safer arena. The additional heat is provided by Tight Deadline, which doesn't really do anything except provide swag, because we're always going to beat that timer anyway, but just having on the lowest version of Tight Deadline means that we can't see survival rooms. Those are those 45-second timed rooms that can appear here in Tartarus, and that's 45 seconds too long for any single chamber to take, so we happily disable those with that little heat option.
Oh!
Cheers, mate.
Do I roll for this?
Do it.
Out a different set of choices.
Did it?
Yes!
Yeah.
Get me going.
Snowburst.
Yeah, so Snowburst is a really important boon on Hera. It's insane that we got it this early. It does this AoE, you'll see this white pulse every time we load our cast. It does AoE damage. So as I was explaining, Hera does a really great job of single target damage with these kind of pinpoint cast placements at really far ranges. But what it doesn't do is clean up tiny enemies very well, because of that same reason. Where you only have 3 casts, and sending them to all these numbskulls, for example, is very slow. So having something like Snowburst that does that point blank AoE that just takes them all out while you're dealing with other things is really awesome.
I'm short of coin.
Oh,
See more options.
alright. I'm gonna get at least like 1 palm into the cast.
Hope I didn't keep you waiting, ladies.
Sorry, I was taking a drink of water. Did we roll that bomb to put it in cast?
Yes,
Yeah.
Heck yeah. I agree with that choice.
Again, there are 3 variations of this fight, so the Symphony seems to have a crush on Ryan.
Yeah. He's going down real fast, especially for Hera. Hera actually tends to struggle a little bit with the Furies, but that was pretty quick.
And I will point out, I wasn't going to say anything, but I noticed Ryan in the last round, Beowulf killed Dad with 5 HP remaining, so thank you for saving my wallet throughout that whole run.
Yep.
So we have another donation.
Okay.
We have $50
Oh, wow.
from Museus7,
Museus, legend.
who says, "Speaking of heat, what's it cost to get an EM4 fight? Good luck. Have fun.
Okay.
What a throwback this couch is."
Well, speaking of throwback, Museus is one of the OGs and still just does so much for the community. He helps mod, he does everything. Museus is just an amazing person, and we're extremely lucky to have him part of the Hades community.
It's just extremely lucky to have him around in general. Self-proclaimed lazy developer, but overall amazing person, and yeah, really helps out a lot of communities that are out there. Still looking for fish.
So about that EM4.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think aspect.
How do we feel about it? Because that's tough. That's really tough.
It
I
is
can
tough.
explain what that is.
Yeah,
if you
go
would
ahead.
like. Yeah, so that Extreme Measures 2 setting I was mentioning earlier, we use it for that learning arena, but we only use it on the second highest setting. So there's Extreme Measures 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each one affects each biome's end boss. So Extreme Measures 3 will add in some additional difficulty to the heroes fight, which is hilarious, by the way. And and Extreme Measures 4 adds a whole third phase to the Hades fight that is quite difficult, but has also the best song in the game, in my opinion. But
I think
there's
that's
no
just
opinion there. It's just
objectively
it's just a fact, you know.
So we're
it's
doing it
really,
with the
really
spear
tough.
run, right?
I feel like if there's any one weapon
I'm kidding.
that Ryan could do EM4 on, oddly enough, it would be Guan Yu.
Oh my god.
Tell me it's not your most comfy weapon, Ryan. Ryan's the only guy that can run around in this game with 24 health and go, this is so comfy.
You're not wrong. You know what? I'll try it. I'll try EM4 Guan Yu. How about that? I'll try it.
Hear me out, Ryan.
Well,
Hear me out. We are $60 away from our $1,500 next donation benchmark.
I'm hearing.
I think that if we're going to do this, that should be our reward for hitting our next donation goal.
Easily.
We're
all
only
right.
$60 away.
I mean, there is a part of the mod that we haven't explained yet.
And you know what?
Hopefully
We might
not
get
need to be
experience it in
explained.
full.
Yeah. But
Museus,
There might come.
I believe it was Museus who developed that part of the mod, and I believe I was the first person to get, or it was either me or no, it was me because Ronnie had an unfortunate event, and then the next day for races, the mod was introduced.
I do remember
yeah,
that.
so this is not a standard part of our leaderboard mod pack. It's not leaderboard legal, but we use it for races and for events just to add an extra little layer of security and peace of mind. You may have noticed if you've played Hades before. Yeah, that's spicy.
Well, you're gonna fish.
Ryan goes, I
Let's
can't miss
go.
the fish now. I know where it is.
Yeah, so you may have noticed if you've played Hades before, in the bottom left of the screen we have those Death Defiances, and one of them is a little infinity sign. That is Infinity D's. It's a mod that, rather than the run just ending when you run out of Death Defiances, you instead go into a penalty box, and there's a timer on screen, and everyone gets to make fun of you, and hopefully we won't see it at all this run, but if we turn on Extreme Measures 4, we might see it a little bit, because that is rough.
And my wallet is just thinking that it's happening
That's
with
not the
two
Beowulf
cast
run?
weapons. Well, his Beowulf run, he probably would have done it just fine.
Oh.
Did
Ooh,
have
nice.
all the things.
Yeah, we just got triple shot, which triples our attack damage, basically. It comes out in this cone, but if you shoot an enemy point blank with it, all of them hit, and all of them deal damage. So really, really nice for big DP enemies, particularly bosses. This run is looking quite nice.
So,
Especially with the... Oh, go ahead.
Ryan, I have an unfortunate note from production for you.
Oh, okay.
It turns out that $50 donation from Museus didn't show up immediately on the progress bar for our donation goal.
Okay.
We're not $60 away. We are $10 away from EM4, the most difficult boss fight in Hades. We are $10 away from $1,500 raised for the Canadian Cancer Society so far this weekend.
And don't forget, it also makes the next to last boss fight, the champions fight, a lot harder too.
But it does make the heroes fight significantly funny.
Yes, it does.
We get some like hype for that one.
What else?
I'll be honest, I'm more excited about EM3 than EM4. I love that fight.
It's really cool.
Delicious.
And we'll definitely explain it if we end up meeting that goal.
I think if might be the wrong word. I believe the word you were looking for, Vareen, is one.
Fair.
True. I see Shy in chat being a little cheeky with that
Guy
exclamation
came in
mark. Exclamation mark D for the donation.
Shy came in with a little hee 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 hee. I'm sure nothing mischievous is happening.
Nothing mischievous whatsoever.
I'm sure that Shy isn't sitting at their keyboard cackling right now. But we do have a $10 donation, oddly enough, from Shy that says hee 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 hee.
Yeah.
All right, we did it. EM4.
Yeah,
EM4
Super exciting.
on Guan Yu.
Oh, are you gonna do it on Guan Yu? I didn't
Oh,
know
yeah,
if you were
hell
gonna do it
yeah.
on Guan Yu.
Oh.
I'll do it on Guan Yu. I'll do it on Guan Yu.
So,
Hold on
yeah,
to your
Guan
butt.
Yu is an aspect that is not typically used in multi-weapon speedruns like this. It's difficult. It cuts your starting health value down. What is it, in half?
In half.
In half. It's in half, yeah.
And all the health that you pick up for the run is also cut in half. So it's a fairly slow weapon as far as like the animations go. So it's one of those weapons that a lot of people actually casually end up really disliking because it's extremely dangerous. And that is the one that we're gonna do the hardest boss fight in the video game with. Ryan happens to be a Guan Yu specialist.
That's a word.
Definitely one of the best players in the game with Guan Yu.
There's literally
like
a handful
like
of us.
There's like 3 people that
There's
can run that
there's
weapon.
a reason there's only a handful. And Ryan, I think everybody's excited for EM4. We have $20 coming in from Hickther saying EM4, EM3. I guess 4 is a bonus too. And we also have another $10 from Museus that just says, smile.
Smile.
Poor me.
Thank you guys so much for your donations. You guys are amazing. And that puts us over the $1,500 mark. We have hit our
Let's
next
go.
benchmark for donations for the weekend. Let's keep that rolling. Remember, all of our proceeds from this event are going to the Canadian Cancer Society. It's a great cause. We have a lot of fantastic runs still lined up. We still got about 45 minutes left of this run. It might be a little more than that with EM4. You never know. But let's keep those donations rolling. You guys are doing amazing. Ryan is tearing through Hades still. And there's plenty more speed runs this weekend. Let's keep it going, guys.
Yeah, and a big shout out too to like everyone who has participated so far, and a big shout out to everyone that has also like worked behind the scenes. I wasn't originally planned to be on this program, and I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to kind of be like a stand-in to help fill in, and I couldn't be more honestly like grateful to even have like the opportunity. And to have like everyone be super flexible and very welcoming and stuff like that. So big shout outs to everyone like behind the scenes as well.
Absolutely. I just want to second that. This is my 3rd or 4th time appearing on Game Over Cancer, whether it be as a runner or a host here in this event. And it's always a pleasant experience. It's definitely one of the smoothest and most welcoming marathons that I've run.
Check the other passageways before supper.
This build is something else. I've just been taking it in. We are.
Yeah.
It's
I was gonna say
it's
we have
nothing,
all
like,
this talk
amazing
about.
either. It's not like a super amazing build either. It's just kind of like just going.
It's not
We've been talking
the
about the
perfect build,
EM4.
but it's a very strong build nonetheless.
Yeah, let's not overlook this run. This run's been pretty spicy.
Yeah, that triple shot is coming in huge.
Oh,
to make
big
up
time.
Is
for
that a
this boss
surface
finish.
fish?
It might be.
Ryan, I don't care if you already caught the fish that was requested. You don't leave
I was
behind a surface
I was
fish.
gonna catch it anyway. Man.
As long as you don't catch too many more. The only thing that I get to linger on in the Hades community is being the purveyor of one specific boon. And I will still swear.
I even rolled for it. I rolled for it on the last run.
And I will still swear that I hold the record for most fish caught in a marathon. There is no evidence to support that, but I claim it, and so far nobody's questioned it.
I was gonna say, are we counting Tonus versus the world?
Oh god.
Oh god. You have a point. That was a charity marathon too. I got nothing. Okay, Tonus wins.
Tonus wins.
Yet another record Tonus gets.
Add it to the list.
I'll pack up my things and go back to the Hades retirement home.
By my father's name.
Hey, I'll welcome you back in. Don't worry.
Oh, thanks, JD.
All right, so that was
Perfect catch.
Sturgeon.
Oh,
There we go. That
it's a
is our
sturgeon.
4th weapon done, so we only have 2 more weapons to go.
And we have $50 from Zyruvius. Saying,
Zyru!
Hi, Ryan. Any chance this donation can incentivize you to do Shackle Status Guan Yu for EM4?
Oh,
Pets here, boy.
God.
Oh, you're all trying to.
As if it wasn't hard
Apparently,
enough.
man.
The Hades community has decided, Ryan, that you get to be miserable on your last weapon. Whether you oblige is completely up to you.
Are you doing it now, or are you saving it for last?
I'm just saving it for last.
You don't have to do it, Ryan.
I'm
You
saving
don't
it for
have
last.
to
Cave
do
to the
it,
peer
Ryan.
pressure.
You realize by saving it for last, you're giving time for even more restrictions
For
to be
more
put on.
people to peer pressure you into doing worse and worse things to yourself.
Oh no.
Always say no.
But-
Always say
Oh
no.
no. For
But
a good cause?
it's for charity.
It's for a good cause?
Croven
Mod
percent.
check? Mod check?
Look, just don't go into the penalty box so many times that we go too far overestimate, okay?
At the pace we're on, estimate's pretty safe.
Yeah, we're pretty good right now. This runs pretty great.
So we are on Eris. Do we want to explain Eris? Before we
The
get too
classic
hyped up?
Greek machine gun, Eris the Rail.
Yeah, we all know it. We've heard the legends. Yeah, so this is the gun. We call it the rail because that's what the video game calls it, but this is the gun.
The gun.
As you can see, our attack, we rat-a-tat-tat, and our special, we lob a rocket.
Boom shakalaka.
You actually just saw we picked up our hammer, which is a rocket bomb, so instead of lobbing the rocket, we get to shoot it in a straight line, which makes it do more damage, and it's a bit faster.
America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe
notice.
Dr. Seuss once said, rat-a-tat-tat, Zag's got a gat.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's historically accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the special quality of the aspect of Eris that we're using for the gun specifically is when we stand inside the special explosion, Zagreus gets this buff. You're seeing these flames come off the character, these blue and orange flames, kind of like a Mario Kart drift.
Yeah, that's good. I like that one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Those are a buff to our global damage. So, like Rush Delivery, it applies to everything. So it's going to apply to that Zeus boom we've got on the attack. It applies to our attack, and it gives us, I believe it's 75% global damage.
Yes.
Some really dumb number that I
It
can't
is
believe they
75%.
actually left in the game. So, this weapon is notoriously fast. For a long time, this was the fastest weapon. It's since been beaten a few times by various other things, but it's still incredibly quick. It's really consistent because you really don't need much because it has so much global damage on its own. We're really looking for flat damage boons here, so we've got this Zeus on our attack. We're going to try and find Poseidon's Dash, hopefully later on, and yeah, it's kind of just flat damage soup. Get as much flat damage as possible and throw it toward the enemy, and you'll be fine.
Good soup.
And, you know, the unique part, like Kareem said, is you gain global damage if you're standing in a circle when you special. But if you notice, there is no circle because we picked up Rocket Bomb. So if you're noticing, you don't hurt yourself with the explosion from Rocket Bomb. So you're seeing Ryan pretty much face plant into an enemy when he uses it. And if he gets hit without taking damage, if he gets hit by the AoE of the Rocket Bomb, that's how he gets the buff.
And I think the most interesting thing about the classic
Oh.
Greek gun is that it's actually still just a melee weapon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hello, Fury Sisters.
And to Symphony yet again.
Yeah, by the way, that special boon that we just picked up is really nice. So that's going to make those rockets that we're shooting able to crit. And we got it at Epic. So boons, you might have noticed, have rarities. Those just kind of slightly modify the bonus. Some of them it's more important than others, so it'll modify like how much damage a damage boon gives, or something along those lines. So yeah, right now the special is doing crazy damage. I think I saw 259 there, with no crit.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think. Yeah, I saw the 380 pop up somewhere. But yeah, that poor Tisiphone. That's, I believe, the
It's her
fourth
fault.
time.
She's coming on to me, and it's her fault.
Yeah.
Is 4 out of 5 Tisiphones so far. 4 out of 5 Tisiphones approve of Zagreus escaping now.
Yes.
All right, so we equipped Poseidon's keepsake here, so we're gonna try and find that dash. After we get dash, we're really hoping to find Zeus again because we really want to get a boon called Jolted. That applies
Static discharge.
Status effect. Yeah, static discharge, which applies Jolted. We all call it Jolted. It
Is that another rush delivery?
We go.
I wouldn't say another one, but it's the 2nd out of 5. So yes,
Another one.
another one. Make it sound
Yeah, so
like
it's
I've been getting rush delivery all day, my friend.
It's nothing but rush deliveries here.
That is
Yeah.
more rush deliveries than I have seen in the last 7 months.
Sorry to hear that.
It's
Bill.
because Bill has been too busy playing Have a Nice Death and getting world record on current patch.
We're not talking about that game right now.
I think
We
we
don't
were
talk
talking
about
about
games.
something called static discharge. Though.
Yes. So
We were.
when you hit an enemy with a lightning effect, it applies a status to that enemy, and when they attack, they take some amount of flat damage. It has a really, really high base number on it. So since we have that percentage increase to our global damage, that's the boon we really, really want.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of insane how much damage it adds. Hopefully we'll find it so you all get to see it.
I should get this boon.
What else is there?
I should also get this boon.
Come on.
No.
Aw, Artemis.
I'm trying to get support fire for Bill.
It's a secret. It's my secret donation incentive, Ryan. Don't spoil it.
You
didn't say
said it on
anything.
stream.
I said it was a secret. I never named it specifically.
I was hoping for the good old lightning rod.
Rod.
Care of.
Museus.
Raider. Yes.
Oh my
let's
God.
go.
You got Bill's boon, but you completely skipped over Museus's boon.
I know. Hey, well, he Museus donated for EM4. I can
One
only
of
make
us
so
has
many
a
people
microphone
happy.
right now, and it's not Museus.
It's
Let
true.
me tell you about the best boon in Hades. You see all these cool little arrows dancing around the screen? They do exactly 14 damage at the highest rarity. But if you get to level it up one more time, which you can't do naturally, if you can get it to heroic rarity, the super secret hidden rarity, they do 16 damage per arrow. Look at all those arrows flying around. That's a ton of damage. 16 damage per arrow. It's the best boon in the game. It sets world records. You can't change my mind.
Some would say it's quite supportive damage.
It's incredible damage.
Ooh.
Who needs jolted when you could get support fire? That's all I'm saying.
Trying on, maybe.
Alright, so we're heading into Elysium for the next to last time. Still looking for that static discharge, but as we call it, jolted. And then after that, what do you think we're looking for next? Where do we go from there? Are we just comfy? Or
We're comfy.
trying?
We're mostly comfy.
have-
We don't have Breaking Wave yet, right?
No.
So Breaking Wave
No,
probably.
we don't.
We don't have breaking wave.
I have blue
but
rush delivery, so
imagine-
I'm comfy.
True.
I
Oh, yeah, I forgot
imagine
about
here, within the next chamber or two, we're gonna have our chance for the best hammer combo in the game.
Yeah. So we have rocket bomb.
That was a big crit.
Yeah. This damage is ridiculous. So we have our first hammer, rocket bomb, and what we really want is something called Flockets, which is the combination of rocket bomb and cluster bomb. Cluster bomb makes it so that you get 5 explosions instead of 1, and it's supposed to, just like Mirage Shot earlier, you may be noticing a trend, make you do reduced damage, but that doesn't apply when you have rocket bomb because of just the order that it applies those effects. So we just get 5 times as much damage on the special, which is already, as you've seen, doing insane damage. So everyone cross your fingers and hope and hope and hope that we get a hammer that has cluster bomb in it, so you can really see some nutty damage.
Because what else did Zagreus need but a rocket shotgun? Classic Greek weapon.
Oh. Well, it's common, but we have rush delivery, so it's still big damage.
That is the boon we were talking about.
You know, if static does so much damage to these enemies, do you think the floor in Hades is just like carpet?
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, I think
All
so.
the enemies
That's
are just
probably
like
why...
simply wearing wool socks.
Yeah, and they're just shuffling around on the carpeted floors of hell.
Yeah. That's probably why Zach's not wearing
I'll
shoes.
see myself out. Kaiser, I'm sorry you brought me on this.
You know what you're getting yourself into.
We talk about how he needs to be close to his special explosion to get the buff. Well, one enemy that counters that pretty hard are all these little flame wheels. So if he wants to get the buff with the flame wheel, he's gonna have to take a little.
Yeah, but something you can do is
Delta
actually...
chamber.
Well, at least we got Delta. We got Medic Chamber. One of the nice things you can do, even when you can't necessarily go point blank with an enemy like those flame wheels, is you can shoot the special into a wall and you will still get the buff. So sometimes you might see between waves spawning, someone playing Eris with Rocket Bomb might just randomly shoot a rocket at a wall, and that's just to refresh that buff in between while they're waiting for enemies to spawn in. And my god.
Without cluster.
This is because of support fire.
It really is.
Not rush
Support fire
delivery.
damage.
What delivery? No, this is all about support fire.
Crit to end it. Holy cow.
See, even Shade knows about support fire.
So that is the last time you will see the champions fight in that form. The next one
Yeah.
will be a very special fight.
Special. Can't wait.
I'm excited.
That makes one of us.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm actually pretty stoked. I haven't done an EM4 fight in a long time, so that's all right.
It will
doesn't go well.
certainly be a show.
You just blame Museus. It's fine.
Actually,
I'm
the hype
blaming
for it is-
Museus and Zyru because Zyru mentioning Shackle start. Shackle
True.
Privstat. Guan
Is that
Yu,
what we're doing?
EM4. Oh yeah, that's what we're doing, baby.
Oh boy.
And actually, the hype for the M4 run was so big that I didn't notice. Did you lose any DDs?
I did
on
not.
the build run?
I did
Well
not. No.
Oh. Well, thank you. My wallet thanks you. Maybe I can come up with something with the Guan Yu run. Then.
Ryan, I do want to mention you do still have a request pending that you didn't complete.
What was that?
There was a request for you to go visit the administrative workers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'll do that for sure.
Oh, good call.
Thank you, Bill. This is why they pay you the big bucks.
They're not paying me anything.
Oh.
Nor would
well,
I want them to, because all that money needs to go to the Canadian Cancer.
Damn. What a smooth transition.
What can I say? Bad segues are kind of my thing.
You know, since my incentives seem to bring you better luck, I will change it to I'll donate $10 every time you go in the penalty zone
Okay.
for the Guan Yu run.
And what if I don't at all?
We'll figure something out. We'll help out.
We'll start asking you trivia questions in the middle of the run.
Historic figure Guan Yu.
And every trivia question that you get wrong will be an extra 6 tunnel.
Bill just starts reading the Wikipedia about the god Guan Yu.
Historical figure Guan Yu.
Guan Yu was a person. Guan Yu was a real thing.
Boy, our damage. Fresh delivery is a good boon, huh?
Yeah.
Turns out Eris go Burr.
Not when I play it. Ryan seems to be fine though.
Says the runner who's held like every world record in Hades at one point or another.
All right.
Okay.
Trail's done.
The moment you've all been waiting for. Maybe not all of you all, but
graciously deserve.
yeah, with all the love and support and donations and stuff like that, we'll be doing Shackle, Privstat, Guan Yu. If you want to go through that explanation.
Things to unpack. Administrative chamber, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep, there you go. That's the right one. Alright, so we'll start with privilege status. So privilege status is one of the options on the mirror that we showed at the start of the run. One of those meta progression systems. It makes it so when you apply 2 status curses on an enemy, so status curses are things like Hunter's Mark that we talked about earlier, or Static Discharge, like we talked about in that Eris run. If you apply 2 of those to an enemy, then you get 40% global damage against that enemy. We tend not to take that in speedruns most of the time, just because it takes so much investment and so much time to get going that Family Favorite gets most of the way there for much less investment. But sometimes we like to spice things up and use privilege status, like Ryan's going to use here. Then Shackle is a keepsake. So the Shattered Shackle, which Ryan's equipping right now, gives 100% damage to your attack, special, and cast, as long as you don't have a boon selected for those slots. So basically, as long as we don't pick up an attack boon, we'll have 100% extra attack damage. Same for special, same for cast. And then here we are turning on Extreme Measures 4, which is absolutely terrifying. You might want to lower that forced overtime. Oh my god.
no, it's fine.
I'm mad.
It's fine.
Mad lad. All right. Good
It's
luck.
fine.
Everyone, hold on to your butts.
Alright, we're starting off with the Zeus cast, which is, not the worst thing that you could get. It's not amazing for Guan Yu, but, it's something. It gives us a little extra range here. So the main thing you really want to find, which we just did with Guan Yu early on, is Charge Skewer. This hammer is kind of the core of using the weapon. Honestly, I don't know a whole ton about great Guan Yu play. Actually, just the other day, Ryan was teaching me about some tech you can do with charging your spin during your dashes, which looks really cool. Honestly, Ryan, if you want to explain some Guan Yu tech and how the weapon's played, the floor is yours.
Yeah, but first off, just take note of his total health pool and realize the difficulty that he is doing this run on. I can't underestimate how insane this run, difficulty-wise, is going to be.
Cheers, mate.
Well, first off, I had 169 obols. That was pretty nice. But yeah, so Guan Yu is a very interesting aspect because it's very high risk, low reward, I guess.
Not yet.
So there's many different ways to play Guan Yu. The safest I would recommend playing Guan Yu would be Merciful End build, the one that we did with on the fist build earlier. But Guan Yu has been kind of like my pet aspect, so to speak, and I don't know, I just enjoy playing it. because it does feel pretty good to play. I don't know, at least it does to me. Anyway, you'll see me using the dash strike with the special quite a bit, because that is like how the damage rotation on Guan Yu is pretty optimized for. And I don't know, I call it like dash dancing, because you just dash around and you kind of like set up your movement, but also your attack patterns like all in like one go. So you'll see me doing that quite a bit, and also kind of like weaving in the casts in between as well, and doing my best to effectively, clean up as much as possible.
Yeah, and one thing I don't think we've mentioned yet is there is a mirror benefit called Boiling Blood. So when you lodge one of those stones in an enemy, they take 50% more attack and special damage, and that is actually pretty important for crit weapons. So since we have this Artemis special that is crit focused, so it has a lower number on it, but it can crit. So getting that extra damage from somewhere else, like Boiling Blood, can go a long way to making that crit actually be powerful.
The power of Guan Yu knocked out my internet temporarily. What'd I miss?
Oh, nothing special, just that we're dealing.
I just did 1100 damage.
Yeah, just
Oh.
we're at the Fury and we just did 1100 damage.
We're dealing enough damage that Tisiphone finally said, "Okay, I'm
I
not
don't
going to
want
mess with him
anything
this
to
time."
do with that one.
Meg, you're up.
No hard feelings.
All right. So since I am on privileged status, that is something not to be ignored, because that is an extra 40% global damage, which is insanely good. Because like we don't use family favorite, we don't get our 20%-ish, 25-ish% global damage. So we need to get global damage from somewhere. So we're using privileged status, and to make use of privileged status, we need to be able to cause two different ailments to enemies. One of them I already picked up is Static Discharge off of the Zeus cast, and I'm looking for Aphrodite's attack to help proc the second status effect. And once we have two of those status effects, then we're able to get that extra bonus 40% damage, which we'll definitely need for later.
Yeah, and what Aphrodite's attack will do is Aphrodite will mark the enemy and consider it weak. Yeah, you'll take less damage.
Okay, so
All right,
yeah,
he's
so-
doing it.
So we talked about how Guan Yu gets half as much health as other aspects. So the health cost that you pay for Chaos Gates does not change. So you still have to pay the same flat cost you'd have to pay on another weapon. So we paid a whole bunch of health to get in there, and then the curse that we just picked up is going to make us lose health every single time that we use our special, which, as you can see, is a core part of our damage. So we're basically going to be doing this on 1 health. Now the fortunate thing is when you go down to 1 HP, that Chaos Curse can't deal the killing blow to you. You'll only go down to 1 HP, so if you just don't get hit, then it's not really a penalty, but good luck just not getting hit.
Yeah, especially with 1 HP, notoriously in this buyout, you also have to avoid the lava. So, and also, Guan Yu heals for half as much, so getting that health back is twice as hard as well. So,
Yeah, but look at that. He's got a wonderful spear spin that gives him health back when it hits an enemy.
and then he immediately puts himself back down to 1.
That's a real Ryan move right there.
I absolutely would have been tempted to go for that Hermes just to get this curse off a little faster.
Oh, that was a 20. Ryan,
Yeah, we took the fountain.
we're carrying that curse into learning.
Hell yeah,
And
dude.
into Elysium, yep.
Hell yeah.
I can. My wallet's already nervous.
Sorry, we got privileged status though.
You are looking positively fabulous.
Yeah,
I
we
have to
do
say.
fortunately have Aphrodite on that attack, so the status that is applying is a weaken effect, so any enemy that has that pink circle under them is dealing 30% less damage. So that helps a little bit, but not that much when you have 1 HP. Turns out 30% of whatever number is always going to be better than 1.
and you'll look to the right. If you very right of Learning's health bar, you'll see like a little sun or fireball icon. That is the icon to let you know that you do have critical status stacked on that enemy at the time. So it's just a little way of telling you that that's the time you're doing that 40%.
Also, it has quite literally the best sound effect in this entire game.
Yeah, honestly, when the speedrun meta shifted to not using privilege status as much anymore, it's definitely a bit bummed out just because we miss out on the sweet, sweet sound of those privilege status hits.
And of course, Ryan, the God Gamer, only loses. Well,
Yeah, hang on.
there we go.
Hold up. Waiting.
We still got to get to the exit without stepping in the lava.
Oh!
Playing with our hearts over here.
Ryan,
That's what I do.
it's what I do!
Alright, this is where the EM4 starts to take place. Is at the end of this next biome, you will notice something quite different with the champions fight.
Oh yeah. We got
But different
a
in the
solid,
best way.
solid 60 max HP too. Feeling pretty comfy.
Yeah, note that's 10 more than you start the game with every other aspect. Well, almost every other aspect. Some start with more.
Did you greet
Yeah,
the
if you went-
administrative workers?
Yes.
Okay, I missed
Yep.
that. Like I said, the power of Guan Yu knocked out my internet completely.
Don't worry, we got that done. Yeah, just to mention that we did start the run with 25 HP. Now, there is a mirror option, so I talked about high confidence earlier, that gives us more damage when we're above 80% health. There is a flip side to that, which just gives you 50 flat health, which obviously would still be reduced by half, but we could have started this run with 25 more max HP. But Ryan said no, we're not going to do that. We are going as hard as possible.
We're
Yep.
doing it live.
Ian is a Guan Yu gamer and backs down from nothing.
Yeah, we're talking about the boss fights with the EM4, but with this health pool, Elysium is really scary just in general with the enemy. I'm getting kind of nervous, but I know Ryan's keeping calm and chill, comfy with 5 HP right now.
Is it more than 0? Oh god.
That's better.
Yeah, so if you haven't noticed, those enemies just run into you and explode. That's their whole thing. And that explosion deals 10 damage.
Which is how much of my health?
That's the
1/6
number.
of Ryan's health.
100% of his current. Oh,
Nope. Oh. I will say, when we were doing practice runs the other day, Ryan's bar for how comfy any given build was how many Guan Yus of health he had.
Oh, we got
There's
heart
part
rend.
We got heart rend. Oh my god. It's happening.
So just to remind those that don't play Hades, heart rend is that boon that we got earlier, or that we were looking for earlier on Nemesis. Did we get
Yep.
it? We did get
We
it.
We
right?
did not get it. No,
or no,
get it.
you're correct. We
did
did.
not get it.
So that's giving us extra damage on our crit multiplier. So instead of it being 3 times damage, it's 4.5 times damage now, which is quite a huge jump. Really, really nice. Gonna be
Yeah,
really good for
especially
those bosses.
when the crits are already dealing over 1,000 damage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an armor check.
Oh my god.
Man, I don't like this game. Remember all those
I do a
things?
speed run or a challenge run when you could just do both.
Remember when I said I was excited for this run? I didn't think about how much anxiety it was going to give me.
How mad of a? Okay.
How about a
Thank you.
how about
Thank
a little bit of safety here?
Yeah, really happy to see Patroclus there to get those Death Defiances back. Makes us all feel a little bit more comfy. Obviously, again, we do have that Infinity D mod on, so the run would not straight up die if we did die, but we would be sitting in the penalty box, and quite sad.
Staying
At
in a
that
penalty
point,
box
I will
to just get.
I will at least point one joke in this direction. I don't know what it is.
Oh, and don't forget, he sits in a penalty box to then just get 36 health back. And to try to not go in the penalty box again.
That's a relief.
Oh, that'll help though.
Don't spend it all in one.
All right. I think actually pressure points is what I want here.
Delicious.
Mostly because I want my special to crit as much as possible.
Alright, here we go.
All right,
Isn't
so
it beautiful?
Here's Extreme Measures 3 Heroes. You'll notice Theseus is now riding around in a chariot with some Gatling guns strapped to the front, launching rockets around the arena, while Asterius just spins around in circles, just being a hitbox.
Theseus has the beta airstrail on it.
Yeah. This
Theseus
is,
making use of the classic Greek gun.
Yeah. This is just such a great fight. I just love how goofy the armor is.
Also, I love the animation when you face Theseus, how the chariot just kind of explodes.
What is going on is that I just beat this friggin' EM3
That was
fight.
almost a no-hit EM3 fight.
Enjoyed the show out in the stands.
Let's go say hi to our shade. I know I'm gonna need it.
That was insanely well done. That's God gave your steps.
Ryan,
As a resource,
I've just been so nervous for this whole run. I don't even, do we even have Hermes? What's our Hermes? I don't even know.
Oh,
I think
we
we have
we
a
don't-
hyper sprint.
We have hyper sprint
Yeah.
and greater evasion, but we do not have the delivery boon.
Yeah, greater evasion is nice. That's,
you rolled past 2 special speeds to try to get rush delivery. I noticed that. Still there.
But special speed doesn't really do anything for you, though.
Oh, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Believe it or not, it's when you have charge skewer, it doesn't do anything for you. So might not know that because nobody plays Guan Yu. I totally understand. But yeah, once you have once you have charge skewer, Swift Flourish does nothing for you.
And just to quickly explain, greater evasion that Hermes boon has, that just gives us a little bit of dodge chance, which normally is kind of just a settle boon. You just take it because at least it does something. But in this case, it might be crucial to making it through this run.
That's one of their layers.
Oh God.
It's okay. It's fine.
Oh, Aphrodite.
What do I want here? I think actually dash is fine.
I really thought you were gonna take the money there.
Go
Try to get
on,
that
take the
extra
money and
Hermes
run.
and shop.
I was thinking about it.
Can't do that. That's one less boon.
Should be enough.
No use.
I need some extra gold pots.
All right. Before we get to it, does anyone remember enough about all the unique things about the EM4 Hades fight? to explain
No.
it? If not, I can give it a go.
Oh no.
I just know the Serbi surprise. And
Yeah, so
rock
like I
and
said
roll
earlier, it
and-
adds a third phase.
Hmm. I'm gonna go for it.
What are we going for? Rabble?
rush.
First delivery.
Oh, we're getting extra money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're taking an extra tunnel here just to get a little extra cash so we can try and get rush delivery to make this Hades fight a little faster. This is not advised.
No,
but,
do not do this.
Yeah, don't try this at home.
Don't try this anywhere.
Yeah.
Don't limit this to just your home. Don't try this at your friend's house.
On the bus, I see you switch gamers.
Bus.
Oh, we do have categories
Steam
for
Deck
Switch as
now?
well.
Oh yeah, the categories for this game, whatever your style, there is definitely a category for you.
Right. So one of the things that Hades can do besides just have another health bar, you do get there's this healing effect where Hades will like absorb energy from the pots that he creates, which are little traps, and will heal. Oh, we're getting a fish too. Damn, this run is swaggy as hell.
Epic rush delivery. I would call that worth.
Perfect catch.
100% worth, and the perfect catch.
All right. I'm gonna
Ryan?
shut up too and focus
Yep,
on
you
this.
focus, buddy.
Enjoy.
Welcome
Just
to the
enjoy
most
wonders.
difficult fight in Hades the video game, with the least safe aspect the game has to offer.
All right, this is it.
You think?
Oh, don't take it so.
Of that I am most certain. Come.
Yeah, other effects of this fight. The Omni laser we were talking about hugging your dad earlier. They specifically make it so you can't do that. There's actually like a knockback effect in the circle that pushes you back into the lasers. So you have to take cover behind the pillars. There's a Hades gets a summon just like you have Meg. Hades gets to summon Cerberus too.
I forgot about this part.
Yeah, drop a bunch of bombs on you. The add summons are mini bosses, randomly selected mini bosses, instead of just common enemies. So we just got a Doomstone that we had to kill. All these skulls have little slow fields around them that are really obnoxious. This fight's crazy.
Call my name. I order all you.
His spin attack, he spins twice now instead of once.
Double Mega Gorgon, because why not?
That's what we want with Guan Yu, to get frozen in place.
Ryan cleans it up like it's nothing. Doesn't even lose a Death Defiance in Phase 1.
Bill.
Loses a Death Defiance in Phase 2. My statement stands true.
Yeah, you'll see when if you get hit by those pots, you get rooted in place and stunned. So it's really, really dangerous. This whole fight is so damn scary. There's the healing I was talking about earlier. You just took a lot of damage, but so did these. We're pretty close to phase 3 here.
These are pretty comfy trades. It does
Here
come down
comes-
to kind of
Best
that
part of the
joke that we've been making that health is a resource.
So I turned out the lights, changed the music.
There was that knockback effect on the laser I was talking about earlier.
I forgot
also
he
got
gets
that.
Achilles spear dash.
Yeah, you can teleport
There's
to the
so
spear
much
after he
Dad
throws
can
it.
do.
Yeah, this fight's wild.
So we should be seeing Serby here in a second.
Gee golly
The
gosh,
penalty box.
there it
Alright,
is.
only a 10-second penalty box.
It's okay. It's only 10 seconds.
It's
I was
not
ex-
okay
yeah.
for JDN's wallet.
No, it's okay. It's well worth it.
God, our damage though is so insane.
This is actually crazy.
Okay.
Wait,
Wow.
did he?
That's,
Great
didn't
job,
even
that's
Ryan.
time.
I must admit,
That's
Yeah,
time.
you
Yeah.
Time.
something.
Holy moly.
What a run.
Quick run.
Incredible job, Ryan.
GG's, Ryan.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye, Father.
So yeah, Guan Yu not very
New
safe,
record.
Right now.
as you can see, but yeah, that was the dad fight at EM4, the crazy heavy metal shreddy music, and not a very safe aspect with not a very optimized build, that's for sure. But it's all for the love of the community. Thank you very much for all your generous donations, and as well as everyone at Game Over Cancer charity. Appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
I have one more thing before we send you out, Ryan. We've got one more donation. It comes from High Five Mom.
Aw.
$25. It says good luck.
Wow. Love you, Mom. Thank you, Chloe. Shout out to the Chloe community. Just call me Chloe. Thank you so much.
I'm home.
All right, that's gonna wrap us up for
I just got back
Hades.
shortly before you did.
Stick with us. Our next run is going to be Super Metroid by MM2 NES cartridge.